So I just finished watching The Doomsday Machine. This was another top-notch episode. It had most of the stuff that I seem to be enjoying for the most part out of the good episodes. This one was really focused on building tension, and they did a wonderful job from start to finish. The basic premise is that the Enterprise is doing their normal searching stuff, and they come across a ship, the USS Constitution, and this is one time I really did like the new updated effects because it's a ship that looks a lot like the Enterprise, but it's been destroyed, and they did a really good job with the visuals on it to make it look wrecked. I really like that. Anyway, they find this ship adrift. Kirk and team beam to the ship, and the only person left on there is Commodore Decker, who's the leader of that ship. You come to find out that there is something out there that is literally eating planets. It's ripping chunks out of them and consuming them. I'm already hooked. I was like, wow, this is cool. It kind of has like a Galactus feel from Marvel Comics almost. But you haven't seen it yet, so we don't know exactly what it is. And you find out that Decker had beamed his entire crew down to this planet after the ship got banged up, and he was going to be the last one to beam down. And then something happened to the transporters that they broke, and so he couldn't beam down. And then this machine that was eating planets came and ate the planet that his entire crew was on. And he's talking about that he's hearing the screams over the radio and stuff. That right there is really great building. That's a case where, you know what, the tell, don't show worked. I don't think we needed to see the planet being destroyed. It was more impactful seeing this actor portray it, and his face and his expressions and his voice and everything. That came off really good. The rest of the episode continues to be strong. Deckard and a few of the others beam back to the Enterprise. Kirk and Scotty and a few stay on the Constellation to figure it out. And we're going to have two different storylines going on. One is on the Enterprise that Decker has now taken over, and he wants to go fight this machine. The other is Kirk and Scotty on the other ship, and them trying to get it back in order, and then this machine comes up, and, you know, they can't fly a ship, and it's going to eat them. Wow, just a whole lot of tension the whole way through. On board the Enterprise, there's a lot of conflict between Decker and Spock and Bones. Decker wants to take the Enterprise into battle. Of course, McCoy doesn't want to, and Spock, being the logically driven one, cannot dispose of the Commodore because he hasn't done anything wrong yet, and Spock has to follow his orders. So we get some really cool stuff there, and then finally Spock does this logical conclusion thing that going up against the machine would be suicide, therefore the captain is not mentally stable, therefore he can be relieved of duty. Spock coming through in the end with his great logic. So yeah, this episode really had me feeling some tense. I know that the main cast is going to survive. So I wasn't like too concerned, like, oh my gosh, who's gonna get it in the end? But they do destroy the machine because it was on a path and it was going to be going through a highly populated part of the galaxy. That Decker takes his old ship, the Constellation, and flies it into the machine and then detonates his warp core, which causes this huge chain reaction and it blows up. And he, nice thing, he redeemed himself in the end from kind of being this weird, creepy jerk of a guy and part of it. Yeah, just another solid episode. Again, this is a sort of situation where I feel it would be better if it was done over a 2-part episode. Let the tension build. The machine that they were fighting was so... I mean, this thing eats planets. That's how big it is. And they solve it all in a 50-minute episode. I understand they weren't really doing 2-parters back then. That's just, a little nitpicking on my part. But I would have liked to have seen the story longer. Build more tension. Have more destruction in it. Make us feel something for Decker. So that's the Doomsday Machine. Is it the best that I've seen? Oops, my chair just went down. Is it the best I've seen yet? No, it's not. But it's in my top list. It's a solid episode through and through, and I highly recommend this one, especially for the more suspense and a little bit horror-based episodes they've had. This is at the top. So, that's all I have for the Doomsday Machine, and I will see you guys later.